All right, we'll wrap it up. Guys, thanks again for watching and for joining us. We will see you again next week.
I hope some of your dads knew who I was and could connect me with them
Get in
again.
touch, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Quick.
So we get, speaking about HOAs and stupid builder decisions, we have a lot of homes in here in North Carolina are built with the water heaters put in the attic. And you can imagine the problems they have 8 years down the road when the water heater bursts, floods, the
Pressure relief
two
valve goes.
floors. I mean, it ends up flooding the first and second floor. We have done a lot of moving of water heaters in this one development because one of the neighbors, her water heater burst. She's been out of her home for 3 months because they're having to renovate and take out all the carpet, take out all the walls, this and that. Just ruined. And so all of her neighbors are freaking out. So
Because they know they're next.
Yeah. I mean, it is an inevitability. And it's just amazing to me how that is done. How that can even be allowed to be done. Because
Apparently,
it doesn't make no
building
sense.
codes allow it.
Mm-hmm. They do. It is just laziness. It's all to make the house look pretty because they don't have to find a closet or they don't have to put the water heater in the garage where it should be. I had the conversation, was asking some of our new construction plumbers. And they said, yeah, it is a nightmare for them because they have to lug it all the way upstairs. Yeah. There's no sort of plumbing benefit. It's not more efficient. It's not better in any way, but it allows for a better showing of the house.
Well, for a solar panel preheating the water. Right?
Yeah. Well, you still need a place for the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, they're 50-gallon electric tanks that plug right into the wall. And so they're causing all sorts of problems. So it's created an opportunity for us in that neighborhood in particular, because everyone's just worried about it happening to them. But
have they come up with a reservoir that it can be set down into then that would drain water off if they have a burst pipe or something like that?
There is a pan that can be piped out, but they're not putting those in. Usually we use those for gas water heaters, and these are cheap electrics.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not per code, you don't have to have that. We do have a system that will turn the main water off. So it has a servo and a sensor.
Pressure sensor.
No, it's a electric sensor. So it just got two probes, and if any water, I tested one out. I just licked my finger and touched across the probes, and it works.
Okay.
And then it's got wireless sensors too that you can put behind your washer, underneath your toilets, and if it detects any water, it'll shut your main water off, which is fine, except that that's not going to stop the 40 to 50 gallons in your water heater from pouring out if your water heater bursts.
Yeah,
it'll just keep more water from pouring
Tell
out.
them about Mr. Spicer's idea of how to heat a house.
Well, yeah, ours was electric heat, and they were wires that were stapled to the ceiling, zigzag, and then plastered over.
Okay.
And then you had a controller on the wall, like a thermostat, and every room had its own controller. Every room you could set at a different temperature. And at the time that we bought the house, this is a house in Dayton, at the time we bought it, that was more economical than a gas-fired furnace or from an electric furnace, and better than a heat pump. Now, heat pumps soon after that made a major jump in efficiency to where they became the heat source of choice.
Yeah.
And of course, incorporated the air conditioner too.
Yeah.
Which was good.
How well did those work?
Well, they worked fine, but they were expensive to operate.
Well, they were. I remember being quite comfortable from about here up.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Because heat rises.
Well, sure.
It's a great place to put heat.
But if you wanted it warmer on down, you just cranked it up a little bit.
I think this predates kind of the reintroduction of ceiling fans. Those weren't quite so common.
That's true.
That would have been a
That would have helped a lot.
good
Yeah,
improvement there.
Put them on the blow up cycle. And
Yeah.
it would bring it down. Yeah.
Well, that's why the ambient heating, water heating is
In the
usually
floorboards. We had that
On the
in
floor.
one of our houses in Dayton, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, we had that in D.C. in Maryland.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember
It
that.
wasn't in the floor. It was on the baseboard.
Oh, right.
At floor level. Yeah. Had it at the condo.
The problem with some of those, though, is they are integrated. The water heater is integrated with the home heater, and so some of them, in order to have hot water, you have to have your heat turned on. So as you turn your hot water on, it'll start to heat your home,
Oh.
and it causes problems for people in the summertime.
Right.
Yeah, we had both in our house in Maryland. We had a boiler for the hot water and the water baseboard system. Then we had a regular water heater for the domestic water.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the flooring was all tile, and you could have some throw rugs, but if you didn't want to insulate your floor, you couldn't put a carpet, wall to wall carpet down. But boy, it was wonderful to get out of bed on a cold winter day, and it's like stepping on a waterbed. Getting out of the waterbed, stepping on a waterbed, felt great.
Are you talking about pipes in the floor?
Pipes in the floor.
Oh, no, what
Yes,
we had.
I'm talking
what
about
we
pipes
had
in
was
the
the
floor.
baseboard.
Right. No, but I'm back to
Okay.
what I liked,
Yeah.
which we never had again. But
A pain if they start to leak,
Yeah.
oh, sure they would be. Yeah.
because some of them, if you're on a slab, they're actually in the concrete,
Right.
and so you have to bust it up. And
Yeah, these would have been for sure.
hunt the leak down. We have done that.
Now this ceiling heating system that we had, they had a device where they would disconnect the wires at the controller and put this device on it, and it would burn a little brown spot where the wire had separated. It would short across it and burn it enough to where it would
Show up.
char a spot. And they come in
That's
and
clever.
carve it out, and fix the pipe or fix the wire and plaster it over and
That's
some
clever.
spackle on it.
I remember the one thing about this: the ceilings had a pattern that was stippled in. That they used a brush and they would stipple these. So it's called stippling. A stippling brush, in fact, is what you use. But there was in the dining room of these homes this pattern. It was like a starburst, and it was a piece of drywall that had been cut, and then on that was another layer. So it was multiple stars, which they then put the plaster over and stippled. And we were going through the model house, or Mom and Dad were going to the model house, and you said,
I can do without that.
well, it turns out that was the builder's his trademark.
We didn't get one. Our whole house, he built about 5 models that he built repeated throughout the neighborhood, and we bought a lot and hired him to build a house that we had found in a
Better
house
Homes and Gardens or
magazine,
something.
Yeah.
his house plans thing, and we bought the plans, and I did some redlining it to get some features that we wanted, and then gave it to him, and so he agreed to build it. He said, "That's good, my guys. We need the opportunity to build something different for a change." But that was when we did not get the Spicer emblem on the ceiling.
Yeah.
That was all
But
right.
you did get the 2-story fireplace that lays down in the backyard.
The what?
Lays down in the backyard.
No, I didn't follow.
The first one did, didn't it? Isn't
No.
that one of the reasons why we didn't move in?
They did have a problem.
Yes,
with
they
it.
did. I remember
Yeah,
this.
I forgot that. We had friends that lived out in Ken Carl Ranch, west of where we lived before in Denver, that had that happen to their house in the middle of the night. They heard this crashing sound and went and looked, and there's this big strip of wall that's missing, 2 stories.
'Cause I remember that. I remember where the skylight went up in the living room. What would have normally been the ceiling height, there was a crack that showed up there.
Yeah, we had a
Settled
problem.
and
Biggest problem that we had there was the windows were not airtight, and in fact the whole wall wasn't airtight. I showed the builder one day. I lit a match and held it in front of an outlet like that, and the wind, cold wind. This is Dayton, January.
Yeah.
Blew the match out, and so I took him into arbitration over it. And who's the arbitration board but 4 of his fellow builders?
who they will have him on his arbitration
Exactly.
board.
Yeah.
And gave the same demonstration for them, and when they got through, they went off and drank coffee together and decided they were up to the standard. There was nothing wrong.
Yeah, you ended up getting foam insulation pumped into the house. And
We had
number of
water
things.
pipes freeze this far from the outside wall. Came in, traveled along the joist between the two floors,
Yeah.
and froze the water pipes that far in.
Wow.
Arnold Spicer.
Mhm.